to the Stray Podcast, where two unrich, unfamous, unheroic, non-infinity stone holders, real people, aimlessly move from topic to topic without course. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jason. Today's subject is the
Marvel Universe! I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know.
Hopefully we don't get sued by playing the theme song of the movies, but whatever.
Don't share this with Disney Studios,
We
Marvel
are
Studios.
taking chances as we speak.
But I know to all of our fans out there, you guys will appreciate it. All of our Marvel fans out there will appreciate this as well. Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I hope you guys missed us. We did not record this week on Tuesday. We're recording on a Friday this week. So here we are, back in business.
And of course, it's April 26th, and what was yesterday, the 25th, the release date of the Avengers Endgame.
Well, it technically came out today, the 26th. But
Yes.
yes, they had midnight. Well, no, they had 8 o'clock showings,
6
9,
o'clock
10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, they had it all throughout the night last night. I went last night at 11. Got out of the theater at around 2:30, got to bed by 3, was up at 6. So, as you can see, mind you, I'm running on pure adrenaline from the movie still.
So Stephanie has seen the movie.
Yes.
I have not.
Yes.
I am not a huge comic book movie fan, but I know that this is an historic cinematic.
Hashtag I don't understand that, but yes,
Yeah,
keep going.
well, it's just, it's historic. I mean, these movies have,
Yes.
Again, we're going to go through each movie.
Yes.
How they kind of connect-ish. Maybe some lore or some interesting facts about the movies themselves.
Yes.
This will probably maybe a 2 or 3-parter podcast because, again, there's 11, 12 movies total?
There's over 20 movies.
Oh. It doesn't look that much to me. Shit, because I wrote them all down, but I guess 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Sorry,
quite a bit. It's quite a
That's
bit
a
of
lot.
movie. But I mean, if you think about it, it's a 10 years, 11...
11-ish, yeah.
11-ish year span where it all started with, of course...
Iron Man.
Yes.
In 2008?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that initiated everything. I mean, before that, Marvel... This isn't the first time they're bringing Marvel into the... big theater or widescreen, whatever you want to call it. I know that they've done that with X-Men in the past, which they did, and then it sucked or whatnot.
Did you ever see Adventures in Babysitting?
I did.
Okay, remember they had Thor? Remember that girl who she was babysitting was obsessed with Thor?
Yes.
That's the very first time I was ever introduced to Thor.
How long was that? How long ago was that?
Oh god, I have no idea. It was 80s. It had to be late 80s maybe?
And if you think about it, if you remember in the 80s when you saw that, how different do have these characters developed?
Oh yeah, because in that movie, the Thor was a mechanic.
Yeah.
And he just happened to have a hammer.
Yeah.
And the girl was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because as a little child, I was turned on by him. I had no idea why. Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Now we know. So again, we're going to go down the list. We have to say spoiler alert just in case you have not seen these movies.
If you haven't seen them, turn off the podcast and then go listen to something else like your music. But once you see them,
and then watch the movie.
Back.
Most of them are available on Netflix.
Yeah.
Any
on demand,
streaming, iTunes.
Yeah, anything like that. They're available.
I have
on
seen most of them.
Redbox.
I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen most of them.
Yeah, as long as you've seen, I understand people that haven't seen up to Captain Marvel. That's understandable. It was fairly recent, so they pushed Captain Marvel really close to Endgame. So I know that was a really back-to-back. But that's not the first time they've done that. They did that last year, I think, with Ant-Man and Wasp.
Because it was about 2 movies a year.
Yeah. They squeezed them so tight. And
For
I
the past
remember
10-ish years.
Ultron, Age of Ultron. That's one of the recent ones in the Avengers series. They had originally released that for May, and then they pushed it even earlier to April. And I remember that because I think we were traveling and we said, well, let's schedule wherever we're going to travel. Let's go and find a theater where we're going to be to watch it. Mm-hmm. And then when they scheduled it ahead of time, we're like, oh, perfect. We'll still be here.
Who watches movies on vacations?
No. If it's the Avengers, I do. If it's Marvel,
No. Okay, so starting with Iron Man, it came out May of 2008. The director was Jon Favreau, who was also the limo driver, correct? That's Tony Stark's driver.
Yes.
Okay. A billionaire industrialist and genius inventor, Tony Stark, obviously played by Robert Downey Jr. Do you think that this kind of like catapulted his career again?
Well, I'm going to get into a little bit more
perfect.
information of why they focus so much on Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. He is conducting weapons tests overseas, but terrorists kidnap him to force him to build a devastating weapon. Instead, he builds an armed suit and appends his captors. Returning to America, Stark refines the suit and uses it to combat crime and terrorism.
Yes, I do.
So this was kind of like a groundbreaking film as like it came out. Yes. Robert Downey Jr.
Came
special
back
effects, boom, boom, boom. It was very entertaining.
Yes.
I mean, I remember seeing it in the theater. And,
there you go. Then.
No, I definitely saw this one in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was... I mean, I was ignorant and didn't know that obviously this is the start of the 21 movies coming out after
From that end, I do remember that it was rumored, but nothing was ever confirmed, and that's why we were all kind of hoping. And then towards the end of the movie, if you all remember, obviously Marvel has a tendency to add scenes to kind of hint on what's going to happen next. So at the end of the movie, it kind of gave preface to the whole Avengers series, I guess you want to call it. But nobody really knew if it was really going to happen.
Do you find Robert Downey Jr. attractive?
No, I do not.
I do not either.
I
like his personality, but I don't find him attractive.
I think I don't find him attractive because I've seen him in other films from like the 80s, back when he was in his bad days.
So the reason why he has that thing in his heart is from when he was blown up?
Yes.
Wasn't there an explosion?
Yes.
And then some shrapnel went into his chest?
Yes.
And it was like kind of like a magnet at first, right? To keep the shrapnel away from his heart? Is that what I'm understanding?
What was it was some kind of some kind of metal object in there, and I forget what it's called.
I think it was shrapnel in his body.
Yes. It was
and
from
then that thing was like a magnet to keep it out of his heart.
Yeah. He was in, which is really according to the time, this was 2008, so this was like 7 years after the 9/11 attacks. And so it was kind of symbolic because when we were in war with Iraq for maybe another 6 years after that or something like that. So it was kind of almost symbolic because it just so happened to be in that general area of the Middle East where they were where the movie started. And that's kind of how it tied into that. That's how I remember that in terms of time period. And then he was in like a combat, a military truck, and then it blows up by the enemy. And then so terrorists
captured him to have him make a weapon for them.
Of mass destruction.
Yes.
So I mean, it was kind of symbolic. I remember where this is so tying it up with those events. So
and then he builds his suit, which is very clunky and heavy.
They ask him to build supposedly that weapon of mass destruction, but he instead builds that armor that eventually gets him out of there. And that's pretty much essentially the whole start of creating these suits. And then as the movies progress, you'll see
And doesn't he come back and say that he's not selling his weapons overseas anymore, or he gets out of the weapons business, or is that Iron Man too?
No, he still continues selling them.
Okay.
But it's more, I guess...
I could have sworn he told Jeff Bridges he's not going to sell his weapons anymore. Or was that a different Iron Man?
Let's see. Trying to remember.
It's not the first one. I don't think it's the first one.
People
are probably screaming at us right now.
By the second one, it was the guy. The guy who was like ex-Soviet person or whatever.
It's okay. We'll talk about that when we get to the second one.
Yeah. I vaguely remember, and of course this is 2008, so this was a while ago. And I unfortunately did not do the marathon. I know a lot of people out there probably did the marathon. It was like over 40 hours long. So about this week, there was on one of the cable TV channels, they did a whole marathon of all the movies, Marvel movies, back to back, leading up to Endgame.
Really?
Yeah, it was a whole marathon.
Or I'm sure, heavy hardcore, they have them already, so they probably did it.
Yeah, I have a full-time job, so I can't do. I cannot do.
Well, if you watch one movie a day, 21 days, ending last night, which was Thursday night.
Yeah.
So the 25th.
You had to start at the beginning of this month.
Yeah.
And probably no.
Yeah.
No. And
which is simple. In a movie at night, whatever.
Sure, but
Put aside Game of Thrones. Put aside...
that's another episode. I'm into Game of Thrones right now. I'm catching up. Okay, that's for another night.
I have not seen. Sorry, the only episodes I've seen of Game of Thrones is this newest season because my boyfriend watches it, and I have not seen one episode until I met him.
Oh, you need. I would suggest
know,
you
everyone
watch
says
it.
Watch it.
But I don't blame you because even at night when it's 2 a.m. or whatnot, and I'm still watching TV, I'll watch episodes that are like 3-4 seasons ahead of where I'm at right now, only because they're so interesting. So by that time, I'm wondering why is the character not here anymore, and then I realize, because he's dead. He or she's dead.
I really want to start getting into Handmaid's Tale.
I do too.
I want to start that.
I do too. I've heard so many good reviews about that.
And it's less seasons. I think it's only 3.
Oh, good. But is that on Netflix or
Hulu.
is that on Hulu?
Yeah.
It's Hulu, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah. So did you find any interesting facts about Iron Man, the first one?
So given that Iron Man was the first one, it's going to tie into Avengers. So when it comes to, and this is according to CBR.com, when it comes to Avengers, Marvel's vision had always been that the movies were supposed to be a team effort, right? But it seemed that at the time when they were creating that first Avengers movie, Robert Downey Jr. Didn't really know exactly what I in team meant. According to the director, Joss Whedon, Downey Jr. tried to talk him into making Iron Man the lead instead of kind of more the assemble or ensemble.
Joss Whedon is the director of the
Avengers.
Okay, it's the first one, yes.
Correct. He's apparently, Downey said, quote, "I need to be in the opening sequence. Ooh. Tony needs to drive this thing." Ooh. Unquote. Ooh. We didn't agree to it, to try it, but after testing it and the script, then Downey Jr. agreed that Iron Man had enough focus already in the previous 3 films, or 2. At this point, it was 2.
Well, isn't he the one that's almost in every single one?
Right, but that's the whole thing. So he kind of tried to drive this whole franchise on Iron Man, which is, and that's another thing that's I'm a little bit concerned. Yes, we all liked him as Iron Man. I think he did a great job at portraying him.
That's also his personality.
Yes,
that's Tony Stark's personality.
Yes, Tony Stark's personality, and that's how he is on like every. I wouldn't know, but if that's him and that's how we see him on TV and even on interviews, very much so. He like totally got on that character because he technically was not the first Avenger. It was Captain America.
Yes.
But
which we will get into.
Yes, we will definitely get into. But I mean, it was. I guess because again, this goes back to like all these superhero comic things where the person who tends to circle any kind of heroic group, entails around the person who has what? Money and power. And who has money and power? Obviously Tony Stark. I'm sorry, I'm going to jump into DC Universe. Who has money and power in the DC Universe? Bruce Wayne.
I know, but that brings me back to Thor and Superman. Thor and Superman could kill Tony Stark.
They could, but they're just gods.
I know.
In another realm. In another world. That's the thing. And according to, if we want to get into, oh God, this can go on forever.
I know. We're not going to do
Let's
that.
not do that.
Nope. What else?
So he agreed that because
we're doing a very high level.
Yes, high level
of Marvel.
So because Iron Man had already focused in the previous films, he said Avengers need to be on a different theme, and so it was more about the characters coming together, and so the other actors at this point would probably not have appreciated if it all became about him. So I think that was a good move on both the director and on Downey Jr. kind of making that decision. So I mean, it could have been like the Avengers and Iron Man or something like that.
Well, it could have been the Iron Man and his minions. Or second movie was The Incredible Hulk, June of 2018. Sorry, 2008. Director was Louis. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but Leterrier.
Leterrier.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll say that.
Scientist Bruce Banner, played by Edward Norton, desperately seeks a cure for the gamma radiation that contaminated his cells and turned him into the Hulk. Cut off from his true love, Betty Ross. Liv Tyler?
Yeah, Liv Tyler was in that
I don't remember
movie.
that.
Yep.
And forced to hide from his nemesis, Jen, Thunderbolt Ross, William Hurt. Banner's suit comes face to face with a new threat, a supremely powerful enemy known as the Abomination? Tim Roth. Okay.
Yes.
I did see this movie. I don't remember anything about it. I only saw it once. This was 2008 as well, after the first Iron Man. This is the second movie in the series. I don't know anything about this movie.
Edward Norton is I'm sorry for my...
He was from Fight Club?
Fight Club, right? Okay. That's... Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's kind of cute and a weird...
I don't know. I
kind
just
of
see
like
him as
strange...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I find him intriguing.
I don't know. He's kind of weird.
I'd do him. I'd do him.
I don't...
Is this one... Do we know... This one doesn't seem that important. Says it's not even the same actor.
No, it's not, and that's what I was going to get into.
Go ahead.
So the Hulk, of course, yes, we all know. Now we know that Mark Ruffalo kind of took on that.
Who was also hot.
Yes, that I hit that. Yeah, in 2008, of course, Mark Ruffalo actually had originally auditioned for this part.
Really?
He did, but lost to this guy, the Edward Norton guy. So, according to sources, Norton was supposed to continue playing the part, but he did want more of a hands-on role with the Incredible Hulk. He even rewrote the script and tried pushing it for the final editing. Like, he was pushing it, like, come on, guys, let's get this going. So, when that didn't happen, Norton said bye, and so they went on with Ruffalo instead, hence why he's now as part of the cast.
I think Mark, how do you say his last name? Ruffalo?
Ruffalo?
Mm-hmm. I like him better as the Hulk because there is such a dynamic between the Hulk and him as a scientist.
Yes.
I see Edward Norton as a hardcore man.
Yeah.
And muscular, masculine, but I don't see Mark that way.
Which
so it's kind of like the Dr.
me
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing.
Exactly, which brings me on to my next point, that even though they did go on with Ruffalo to take on the part, he wasn't quite the person that the studio was looking for, quote unquote. The body shape and everything that kind of goes with it. So instead, they computer generated a model of Hulk from a male stripper that was supposed to be a side soldier per se, who was supposed to play as part of the battle sequence there.
Well, with that said, I have a confession to make. I used to be a stripper.
You were.
And they hired me, okay?
Yeah.
So
there.
The whole.
I knew I recognized that body type. Oh my god.
Minus the hair.
It's all coming back. I'm all like, where have I seen these arms?
Where have I seen that dick?
Oh yeah, and he's supposed to technically be naked, and I never see anything. I'm a little sad about that. Can you imagine a 10 foot.
I was going to say 10 inch. Sorry. It should be 10 feet.
10 foot.
Fucking Hulk dick.
Not tonight, honey.
Okay. So, anything else?
From Hulk, no.
Okay.
Although that was kind of interesting. I'm so glad that he's that.
Me too.
Ruffalo
I like Mark as well.
Yeah.
Better than I like Edward Norton. He's a great actor. I just don't like. I like Mark as the Hulk better.
I'm just trying to think of it now.
Bruce Banner.
Banner. If Norton would have stayed now, I think there would have just been a clash. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. There's just this kind of like witty giddy kind of part that Ruffalo and of course Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, they're both on the same level as far as intellectualism. Yeah.
It's just that Bruce Banner doesn't get hurt a lot.
Yeah. Well, kind of.
Moving on to Iron Man 2, the third movie in the series, May 2010. Director Jon Favreau again. Mm-hmm. With the world now aware that he is Iron Man, billionaire inventor Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., faces pressure from all sides to share his technology with the military. He is reluctant and divulged the secrets to his armed suit, fearing the information will fall into the wrong hands. With Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, ugh. I forgot to look up.
Sorry, I'm not a fan of hers. Anyways,
I'm not either.
And Rhodey Rhodes, Don Cheadle, by his side. Tony must forge new alliances and confront a powerful new enemy. And then also, this is the one where Scarlett Johansson makes an appearance, right?
Yes, for the first time.
As his,
assistant.
Second assistant?
She's the, part of legal. Technically part of legal and HR.
Okay. This is also the one with... Isn't this the one with...
Mickey Rourke.
Yes!
Mickey Rourke.
Yes. I didn't write that down, but...
And he has an accent. That's why I'm like, he's from the Soviet Union or something like that. Yeah. And yes, with the whips. And
this is the one with the car race, too.
With the Grand Prix, or not Grand Prix, Monte Carlo,
yeah.
whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they call it over there. But yes, it's exactly that one. And he's trying to... Oh, gosh, there's another actor in there, too. He was in Charlie's Angels, the villain from Charlie's Angels. I don't know if you were familiar from the first one.
The guy who's married... Oh, the first one.
Yeah, he had, like, the disco shoes. I forget. But he's a good actor. I like him.
Oh.
I like him.
Oh,
So I definitely remember this one. This one, oh gosh. No, it was the next one. Yes. So, pretty much I remember that the villain...
Yeah, Mickey Rourke, Scarlett Johansson, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell,
He played Justin Hammer.
Yes.
I don't remember him.
So he was pretty much in competition with this guy in terms of selling military arms to the government. So this guy tried to rob Tony Stark's ideas.
Oh, yes.
Remember now?
Yes.
And this is the first time where we hear,
now I remember.
I am Iron Man, AC/DC, and he comes in the big theater or the big, I think it's a technology.
They don't say that one in the first one?
They do.
Okay.
But it makes like a more of AC/DC entrance.
And also we have to say that Paul Bettany, is it Bettany? Plays Edwin Jarvis.
Jarvis. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how to say his last name, but it's Paul Bettany.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. And he's
only
Vision, right?
Yes.
He's also Vision. Yes.
He's Jarvis in the first
voice in the first.
Yeah.
Maybe
he doesn't come in till the and wait, isn't he Age of Ultron?
Yes, Age of Ultron. Okay. That's when he comes in as Vision. But yes, we always hear his voice as Jarvis, which is interesting leading up to...
He's very cute, too.
Yes. I really like how he's acted in other movies as well. Really, really like him.
Love it.
I do remember. I did want to get into the Avengers. So the name to the movie would have been... Are you ready for this?
Wait, the Iron Man 2 movie?
Not Iron Man 2, but Avengers after this. Avengers
not after this.
Why don't we go into more of the movies and then I'll tell you more about...
Okay, perfect. Okay, moving on to the fourth installment, Thor, the first one, May 2011. Director is Kenneth Branagh. Okay? As son of Odin, Anthony Hopkins.
Yes. Oh my gosh, he was awesome.
Love him.
Awesome
in anything he does. King of the Norse gods? Norse gods. Thor, Chris Hemsworth, will soon inherit the throne of Asgard from his aging father. However, on the day that he is to be crowned, Thor reacts with brutality with the gods' enemies, the Frost Giants.
Yes.
Enter the palace in violation of the treaty. As punishment, Odin banishes Thor to Earth, while Loki, Tom Hiddleston, Thor's brother, plots mischief in Asgard. Thor, now stripped of his powers, faces his greatest threat.
It is as if
this also has
everything on Earth is where they dump everything. By Odin's eyes.
What are you doing? Who are you supposed to be?
I'm trying to be Thor. Hammer!
So this has Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Kate Dennings, I love her, Idris Elba, oh god, he's so hot.
He's a gatekeeper.
He's the gatekeeper, yeah, you're right.
The gatekeeper and the gatekeeper.
Tom Hiddleston, some other people, and also Anthony Hopkins.
Of the Frostbite. I know some people are waiting for me to say the Frostbite.
So, as we know, Asgard is beautiful.
Yes.
Gold, flowers, Thor, and we find out that Loki is he from the Frost people?
He's from the Frost. He's adopted.
Okay,
he's adopted. For all of you guys, you know where that's from.
Spoiler alert. Well, who are they called again? Oh, Frost Giants.
Yeah, he's technically also a god of mischief, and he has magic. He does sorcery, just like his mother. His mother's also practices that kind of magic as well. In Asgard.
Hello?
Yes, right? 1, 2, 3. In Asgard. Asgard.
So he pretty much, So Thor is going to inherit the throne. How on the Crown Day, Thor reacts to a brutality when God's enemies, the frost giants, and then enters a violation of a treaty. So, yes. Anthony Hopkins, the father, throws him out of Asgard.
Yes.
Brings him to Earth, and he's pretty much human.
And he's in
and he's confused.
Arizona, which is awesome because if you guys remember from later on in the movies, it'll come back where Agent Coulson... This is from Iron Man 2. Agent Coulson says, "I need to leave now because they require my attention in Arizona."
Oh, and shows the hammer.
Yes, and that's when he gets dragged into Thor. That's why he's the first one to get there. And if you recall, the hammer, Thor can't really pick it up because only those who are worthy.
And they put that camp around it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only those who are worthy.
Phil Coulson is played by Clark Gregg.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Which we all love. I mean, he's awesome.
Spoiler alert, he dies.
Which I will also get into as well. His death. But I do remember a scene. This is like my favorite scene. It was like near the end. So they're walking in this little town in, I want to say it's Arizona, if I'm not mistaken.
And Natalie Portman is kind of like some scientist, right?
She's a scientist. Okay. She's scientist. And... Thor has this little clique back on Asgard who fight in like battles.
Yes,
remember?
Yes.
So it's
there's like 3 of them, right?
4. So it's the gal, the
Sif.
swords. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go so super stereotypical. On
Jamie
this.
Alexander plays Sif.
Yes.
Josh Dallas plays Fandral.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Josh Dallas.
That's what it says. Josh Dallas. Yeah. Frandra?
Oh my gosh. I think he's... Well, okay. He looks like the Robin Hood character.
Oh, we have to mention Renee Russo plays his mother.
Yes.
Yes. I love Renee Russo.
Yes.
Oh, and then Tad Andu Asanu plays Hogan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the 3 of them, right?
There's somebody else.
I don't know. These people...
So they're going through the town, ready to battle the giant that Loki sent to Earth.
It's very Masters of the Universe.
Yes,
scene. Yeah.
It is. And if you recall, so they're both walking down, or his little clique or his posse goes walking down the street, and then the cop says, "Hey, is there a Renaissance fair going on around here? Because we have Jackie Chan and Xena coming along."
Xena!
Robin Hood, Jackie Chan,
the warrior
and Xena.
gay princess. Do you have any interesting facts about Thor?
What is it? Lucy
Lawless?
Lawless, thank you. Well, I do have an interesting fact about Thor, but it wouldn't be until the next film.
Okay, well, then move on. The next one is Captain America, the First Avenger, which is July 2011, directed by Joe Johnston. It is 1941, and the world is in the Thors of War. Mm-hmm. Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, yummy, who has a gay brother, by the way.
Really?
Yep, his brother's gay, and is a zaddy. Wants to do his part and join America's armed forces, but the military rejects him because of his small stature. Mm-hmm. Finally, Steve gets his chance when he is accepted into an experimental program that turns him into a super soldier called Captain America. Joining forces with Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, and Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell, Captain America leads the first fight against the Nazi-backed Hydra organization.
Yeah, I think this was one of my favorite ones because it went into kind of like a World War II kind of theme. Mm-hmm. And Hydra was technically...
And this all takes place in the 40s.
In the 40s, okay. Yeah. So the hair, the vintage clothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's all you.
Yeah, it was just... And my sister. So it was just like, oh my gosh. And the music and the dancing and the cars. It was just so very, very into that.
So he's pretty much a twink.
He is.
But he needs to become a masculine, tall... go-go boy.
Well, he's the only one. He's the only one that actually portrayed the characteristics of a real soldier, which is why he was chosen to go under this experiment. And when he agreed, it was this is where we kind of get introduced to maybe the usage of one of the Infinity Stones, which is the Tesseract, and that's where he gets his power.
Oh, okay.
Or his super soldier power.
And then Dominic Cooper
Who is?
Who is Howard Stark.
Yes.
That's the person who does the experiment on him, correct? Who is Tony Stark's father.
Okay. And so, which is ironic because essentially Captain America and Howard Stark he was the only one who actually knew his dad, and obviously that Tony Stark doesn't really know his father.
Correct.
So it was kind of like that whole thing, which was kind of cute. But I mean, just wait for it.
And then Hugo Weaving.
And then also,
who's a very character actor.
Tommy Lee Jones was in it, which was awesome. He's in Captain.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Chester Phillips. Who's that?
He's like a captain or a sergeant. There.
Okay, I forgot.
Yeah, so he's
his name
actually
is so far down the list.
Peggy Carter's father.
Okay.
So that's how she gets into the military, which is awesome because she's actually the only female character who is in the military and like who's in high ranking as well, for being the 40s technically. Mm-hmm. So I think that was really cool. And obviously this is where we get introduced to Hydra, which is played by the Mr. Anderson guy from The Matrix.
Oh no, Red Skull.
Red Skull. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Hydra's like the Nazi kind of thing.
Yeah. But he's the leader.
Yeah, he's like
Hugo Weaving. I believe it's called Hugo Weaving. Weaving. Red Skull, but yeah, he's been in The Matrix. Mm-hmm. He's been in this. He played that mask guy from that movie with Natalie Portman. Oh, V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. Mm-hmm. He was awesome in that movie. Oh,
he's a very good character actor, and so is Stanley Tucci is in this too. I forgot about that.
Who's that?
What? It's Stanley Tucci, bitch. Right there.
Oh, yes! That's right! Yes.
Who is another character actor. Yes. Very good. Very
He wasn't in Fashion there? That's really the only movie that he was in Transformers.
Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada.
He's been way more than that.
I know. Even, like, The Core. The other day I was watching, I haven't seen that movie in years. I'm like, this guy was in The Core?
But in this movie, is this the one where he's, like, doing minimal work? Like, he does commercials and, like...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Is this
Captain like be patriotic, and he's all like embracing like the Captain America. He's not actually going to war.
Yeah.
So finally, he's kind of fed up with it.
He's like the spokesperson.
He's the spokesperson for the military war. Yeah. The propaganda, should we say, is what they call it in the 40s. So he's the envisionment, and you see he gets this really like hilarious suit, which is like really so downgraded. It's like so.
But then he goes. Does he go on his own to? Go to Red Skull?
Yes, because Bucky ends up missing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what motivates him.
He played by Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan, yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is not very good looking.
Oh, he is. Very hot.
I don't have any interesting facts about that, so let's move on.
Okay, the first Avengers. This will be the last one we go over right now. So, oops. I went too far. Sorry, excuse me. The first Avengers was in May 2012, directed by Joss Whedon.
Yes.
When Thor's evil brother, Loki, Tom Hiddleston, gains access to the unlimited power of the energy cube called the Tesseract?
Tesseract. Mm-hmm.
Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., initiates a superhero recruitment effort to defeat the unprecedented threat to Earth. Joining Fury's dream team, the Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., Captain America, Chris Evans, the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, and Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, all join forces for the first time. Boom!
That's when you really see the most amazing scene as the camera pans around the entire team.
Oh, yeah. When they're defeating those aliens.
Yes, that's the big fight in New York. One of the interesting facts about this is that initially, director Joss Whedon, when he was first given the task to direct the film, he brought on one of the most memorable scenes. Of course, was bringing the Avengers all together in New York. However, any Avenger fan would know that what is the call for the Avengers to come together? Avengers, assemble! And that's when they all kind of do. If you're talking about cartoons and comic books, that's when they all come in.
Go Power Rangers.
We'll get into that another podcast on that, because I got a few more of those too.
God. The first series, the only ones I like. To be honest, it's just the first ones, girl.
The Green Ranger, man.
So obviously, this is one of like the first movies in cinematic history that One of the first ones, one of many.
Brought so many A-rated characters or actors
and actors together.
And it was just so awesome. So
a lot of power.
It was amazing. So, of course, that's the cry, but it was never said in the film. But according to director Joss Whedon, he initially wanted to call the Avengers, Some Assembly Required.
That's what he wanted to title the movie?
That's what he wanted to title the movie. Yeah.
That makes them sound like toys.
Exactly. Can we just add a cricket sound in there?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, no. So,
hopefully one of the producers was like, no.
Additionally, some interesting fact was that even though the final battle scene was filmed in New York, it was actually filmed in Cleveland, Ohio for 3 weeks. Okay. Officially, New York had about 3 days of official filming in the Grand Park. Central Park. Great Central Park. In addition, when director Joss Whedon was brought on board as a director, it was a bit of a risk the studio took because. So, for those of you who know Joss Whedon's projects in the past, he's been involved in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ooh, I love that.
Yes. Sci-Fi's TV series in 2002, Firefly, which he then went on to direct in 2005. The film Serenity. Unfortunately, the shift from TV series to film, it bombed. So it was kind of like a risk they were taking.
Wait. He directed...
He was involved in
Buffy
the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. How was he involved in Justice League?
I think he was probably like a collaborator in it. I want to say because even though like a lot of these directors, I think they collaborate once in a while in whatever it is.
Okay.
But
because he was also involved in Cabin in the Woods, which has Chris Hemsworth as well.
Yes, I do remember that one.
Great movie, by the way.
Cried when that happened to Chris Hemsworth.
Oh God. Well, don't ride a motorcycle like an idiot.
So unfortunately, when the movie Serenity bombed, it was kind of a bit of a risk that they were taking. So one of the good feel good stories out of this was that he actually prevailed, and being the first Avengers installment, it was actually because of the success. It was kind of a great thing that he got that second chance to redeem himself and his, that I can do this shit,
Yes.
He also was the person that hinted at the end of the movie, again at the end of the credits, where viewers only see a side smirk of Thanos. This is the first time we actually see Thanos in this, where shit's gonna go down from here on in.
Because Thanos is the one who's sending all of these people to Earth to do the job what he was supposed to do in Infinity War.
So right now, as of right now in this time period, you all know what I'm talking about. He's looking for these Infinity Stones. So obviously there's some on Earth, there's some on other realms, and there's some on other planets. Mm-hmm. So he's literally sending his minions out to get them.
This could have been a lot shorter if he was just like, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Stupid. Just do it yourself.
That's not the point here.
Girl,
that is not the point.
Just go to Earth, big Thanos, with your big old purple dick.
It's what you do when you sit on the throne. Should I go into more Avenger kind of story? Okay,
this is our last one.
Oh,
for this podcast.
For this podcast, okay. Before I'm gonna go into more Avengers per se. Let's see, which one do I want to choose? Oh,
just give us a little dick tease. Just the head.
So, just the head. You see it right there? So, Avengers could have possibly has two names in two different places for legal purposes.
Okay.
So,
like America and internationally?
America and the UK.
Okay.
So here we all know it as Marvel's The Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, there was a problem. Because in the 60s, there was already a TV series called The Avengers, which is about a pair of super spies who fought crime for the crown. So to avoid confusion, Marvel released a movie in the UK as Marvel's Avengers Assemble.
For the first film.
For the first film.
Did they have the word assemble for all films? And then
that's a great
it's
question.
Like Marvel's assemble, Endgame, Marvel. Okay, well,
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the Brits. Always fucking shit up.
But okay, this is where I'm going with this. So the Brits had an issue, obviously for legal purposes, they would have an issue for this, but they did not have an issue with censorship, which we will go in on the next podcast.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. So we pretty much have only done, 4 or 5?
Until it's quite a bit.
It's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a long one.
thestarypodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me, Jason, at Real Men Ride, RYDE. And Stephanie?
You can follow me at Steffi, SSTFFY 88, 1988, as if I did not just give away my age.
Bam!
On IG. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Stephanie Bach. Twitter, Steffi88, 1988. Again. So you can follow me on all those social media platforms.
Tell them where you're performing on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. This is another big event that we're coming for. Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. We're going to revisit Miss April Showers at Rage at West Hollywood. So make your reservations.
But tell them what you're doing.
I'm performing.
Yes.
Okay, so
not
I'm
in drag, but
I can.
Drag-ish.
I can. Yeah, I can. I can totally do it. So I am performing traditional Mexican folk dance for Cinco de Mayo, Ballet Folclórico Renacimiento. You can also follow us on Instagram, Ballet Folclórico Renacimiento. Google that shit. It's too damn long.
Shazam that shit.
You can follow us on Instagram, also on Facebook as well. Hit us up, send us a message. We also perform for weddings, communions, birthdays, divorces, bachelorette parties, whatever you want.
Transitioning.
Hit us up. We'll definitely be more than happy to perform there for you guys. So we are going to perform. We're going to be opening up the show, and we will also be closing the show. So make sure to make your reservations. Rage West Hollywood.
Even if they're sold out, where the reservations, you can still come in, have drinks, and watch the show.
Have a drink.
Rage in West Hollywood.
Watch the show. Tip us. Tip the beautiful queens.
Just throw dollars at the stage.
Throw it out to these beautiful queens, because they put so much effort and so much time into making their performances beautiful and flawless. So Rage, West Hollywood, Los Angeles, or West Hollywood. Yes.
We love you guys so much. We are going to end the show with a little bit more of, the Avengers.
You know it.
Bye, guys.